My husband stared at our newborn baby, not with love, not with pride, but like she was a stranger. Then he looked at me and said something that shattered everything. "I'm sorry, Claire, but that baby isn't mine." For a moment, I couldn't breathe, because the way he said it was worse than the words. He sounded certain, like he had already decided. "My name is Claire, and until that moment, I believed my marriage was strong, not perfect, but real. My husband Ethan and I met in college. He was the quiet one, the kind of man who listened more than he spoke, the kind of man who remembered small things. If I casually mentioned craving milkshakes, he would drive across town to get one. That was Ethan. Thoughtful, patient, steady. We built our life slowly, one small step at a time. Our first tiny apartment, the window leaked every time it rained. But we didn't care. We were happy. Then came our first promotions, our first real savings, and our dog Milo, a goofy mutt who believed every person on earth was his best friend. Life wasn't glamorous, but it felt safe, until we decided to try for a baby. At first, we told no one. It felt too fragile, like holding a candle in your hands and praying the wind wouldn't blow it out. But the wind did come. 2 years of negative tests, 2 years of smiling politely at baby showers, then crying in the car on the drive home. 2 years of doctors using words like statistics and unexplained infertility. Words that sounded scientific, but did nothing to ease the ache. Eventually, I stopped hoping every month. It hurt less that way, or at least that's what I told myself. Then one morning, everything changed. I woke up feeling strange, tired, nauseous. Something inside me whispered, "Ben, take the test." So I did. I remember sitting on the bathroom floor, staring at the little plastic stick. My hands were shaking. Then the second line appeared, faint, but unmistakable, positive. I gasped, and Ethan came running. What happened? I couldn't even speak. I just held up the test. He stared at it. At first, confusion, then disbelief, and then something I had never seen before, pure relief. He dropped to his knees beside me, pressed his forehead against mine, and whispered, "We did it." For the next 9 months, he was incredible. He built the crib himself, even though the instructions made him curse. He read parenting books in bed, highlighting sentences like there was going to be a final exam. Every night he placed his hand on my stomach and talked to our daughter. "Hey, Peanut, it's your dad. I'm going to teach you how to make pancakes. The real kind, not the boxed ones." Those moments felt magical. They felt safe. They felt like the beginning of our perfect family, until the day Lily was born. The labor lasted nearly 12 hours. It felt like my body was being torn apart and stitched back together again. The hospital room was a blur, bright lights, voices, the steady beep of machines, and Ethan gripping my hand so tightly my fingers went numb. Then finally, Lily cried, sharp, loud, alive. The nurse placed her on my chest. She was warm, tiny, perfect, and I burst into tears, tears of relief, tears of love. Ethan leaned over us. For a moment I expected him to cry too, but he didn't. He just stared, not with joy, with calculation. Then suddenly he stepped back. "No, I need some air," he said, and walked out of the room. At first I told myself it was shock. New fathers panic sometimes, but something felt off. Later that evening he held Lily for the first time, but his arms looked stiff, like he was holding someone else's child. He didn't whisper to her. He didn't call her Peanut. He just said, "the baby." That night, while Lily slept in the bassinet beside me, Ethan sat by the window, completely silent. The city lights flickered outside. I reached toward him. "Come here," I whispered. "We did it." He didn't move. Instead, he said quietly, "Claire, I need to ask you something." My stomach tightened. "Okay." He swallowed hard. "Are you sure?" I blinked. "Sure about what?" He looked at Lily, then back at me. "About her." I felt confused. "She's our baby." Ethan shook his head slowly. "She doesn't look like me." I stared at him. Newborns don't look like anyone. They look like tiny wrinkled potatoes, but Ethan leaned forward. "My mom said it too." "Of course she did. Linda, my mother-in-law. a woman who could turn any moment into suspicion. She has dark hair, Ethan said. Neither of us has dark hair. I looked down at Lily, a small patch of dark fuzz on her head. It can change, I said, but Ethan's voice hardened. I want a DNA test. The words hit like a slap. I had just given birth, and my husband was accusing me of cheating. My first instinct was to scream, but instead I said quietly, "Fine," because I knew something he didn't. I knew I had never betrayed him, not once. The test arrived a week later. Ethan opened it at the kitchen table, like he was opening a verdict. He swabbed his cheek, then Lily's, then sealed the envelope. The waiting was unbearable. Every day he grew colder, more distant, more convinced. Then the results arrived. Ethan opened the envelope, read the paper, and went pale. "Claire," my heart pounded. "Whoa, what?" he whispered. "I'm not the father." The room spun. I grabbed the paper. Probability of paternity, 0%. For a moment I couldn't even think, but one thing I knew, it was impossible. "I didn't cheat," I said. Ethan looked at me like he didn't know me. "Then explain it." I couldn't, but I knew the test had to be wrong, so we did another one. 5 days later, same result, 0%. That night, I started looking through Lily's hospital documents. Something caught my eye. A number, then another number. They didn't match. My heart started racing. 2 different identification codes, 2 different babies. The next morning, we drove straight to the hospital. After an hour of waiting, a hospital administrator sat down with us. "There was a technical issue the morning your daughter was born." My stomach dropped. "Our tracking system briefly failed." She took a breath. "There is a possibility that 2 babies were misidentified." The hospital ran another test. An hour later, the doctor returned. She didn't sit down. "The infant you brought today is not biologically related to either of you." My world stopped, which meant only one thing. Somewhere out there was my real baby. Days later, we met the other family. The other mother held a baby girl, light hair, blue eyes. The moment I saw her, my heart knew. She looked exactly like Ethan, and we all started crying. Because no one wanted to give up the baby they had loved, but eventually we had to, slowly, carefully, making sure both babies felt safe. It's been 1 year now. We still see Lily. We still love her. But our daughter Sophie sleeps in the room down the hall. Sometimes I think about that moment in the hospital when Ethan said, "That baby isn't mine." And I realize something. Sometimes suspicion is louder than love, but the truth always finds its way out, and the truth is where healing begins. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments. Subscribe for more real stories.